What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another episode of the Forgotten Race Review. We've come to the point where we're hitting well into the request line of non-patrons, and sometimes, well, requests, they have a tendency to fly away. Anyway, next up, it's a third-party one, a third-party template, no less, from Green Ronin Productions, by request, the Agathion Invested. If you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. That's where your requests go. Patronage jumps them up to the top of a very long line. I guess I like doing hand things. Anywho, today's episode of the Forgotten Race Review is brought to you in part by Take History the Artificer, who in like 5 minutes is going to be playing Heralds of Dawn with us. I have some back editing to do on that. The episodes are coming, I promise. I just need to find time to do the thing. Being a YouTuber is a busy lifestyle. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so the Advanced Bestiary, as I flip through it, is basically just the big old book of templates, which is not the worst thing in the world that I've ever seen. And it happens to have a variant on this template for all of the true outsiders, or at least like the popular ones. As I'm sure a lot of us know, the Agathion is the neutral good outsider. They live in Nirvana. Haven't we all taken a Sylvanchi, been proved familiar at some point in our lives? Cats are the best! Anyway, that's exactly what we're looking at here. Again, as we probably know, walking the line between order for the greater good and the freedom of self-determination, the animal-like Agathions often find the need to join with a mortal agent to achieve their goals. Or, just to be the goodest thing they could possibly be in the world. By finding a willing mortal, an Agathion can invest the being with some of its power by inhabiting the mortal creature in return for the mortals completing the Agathion's desired task. The Agathion invested creature looks the same as before, however, its eyes will change to match those of the Agathion residing within you. Of course, as for your age, height, weight, max age, literally just the same as your parent race, as this is a template. Templates are not appropriate for all games, but they can bring a lot of fun to games, and in games where you have things like a power disparity between min-maxers and RPers, a gestalt game where someone doesn't want to do the math. Letting someone take a template can balance things out. Anyway, let's look at the stats, shall we? Agathion Invested is an acquired template that can be added to any living, non-evil creature that willingly agrees to the Agathion's inhabiting presence. The creature retains all of the base creature's stats and special abilities. You also gain the good and shape changer subtypes. And should you ever become evil, your template is lost as the Agathion abandons you. However, don't be a horrible human being, and you get a +4 sacred bonus on saves versus poison and petrification, as well as electricity resistance 20, and a whole heap and host of weaknesses, which I think is fair for a template, right? This allows players to play the thing without just tacking on value. An Agathion invested creature subjected to dismissal or dispel good must succeed on a will save or lose all modification bestowed by the template for a number of rounds equal to the opponent's caster level. Banishment, it's a will save where the template just flat goes away. The Agathion that invested the creature is sent back to its plane of origin and cannot attempt to invest the same creature for a year and a day. Whew! Hold on to those erasers, kids. Don't write your sheet in pen. In any case, spells and effects that specifically target lycanthropes can also affect the Agathion invested, and each of an Agathion invested creature's melee attacks with natural or manufactured weapons deal an additional d6 points of extra damage to evil creatures. All of our natural and manufactured attacks are considered to be magic and good aligned for breaking DR. And table time! Depending on the Agathion chosen, your ability scores change, and you get a whole host of spell-like abilities. Save DCs are based on the creature's int, wiz, or cha, whichever is highest. And you use your hit dice or caster level, whichever is higher, for all these fancy new abilities. In addition, at will, an Agathion invested creature can take the form of the Agathion that invested it as a full round action, sort of like how a lycanthrope changes shape, except there is no anthropomorphic cat that is the walking on its hind legs Sylvanchi. Boo! Worst template! Give me walkie, talkie, intelligent cat thing. Not today, I guess. In Agathion form, the invested creature's type changes to outsider with the appropriate augmented and native subtypes. It gains an additional +4 racial bonus to perception, low light vision, and true speech. Additionally, an Agathion invested creature gains the movement rates physical ability scores, not mental, that's important, of the Agathion, and additional abilities when in Agathion form, depending on this table here, boom! So not all the things. You don't get the Sylvanchi's ability to buff out its strength real hard, but oh well. Lots of ways to get Pounce here, a breath weapon, true seeing sometimes, seems good. Of course, if you chose a Draconal, your breath weapon and immunity are of a single energy type. The damage done is equal to a d6, plus 1 additional d6 for every 2 hit dice, max 10 d6. Reflex save for half, save DC is Cha-based. A Leonel's Rake is equal to the damage from its claw. And you can remain in this form for a number of rounds per day equal to your Charisma, minimum 1. This is a polymorph effect and does not need to be used consecutively. And lastly, each Agathion invested creature is inhabited by a specific Agathion. The Agathion can neither control the inhabited creature nor read its mind, and it perceives only what the inhabited creature does. But the Agathion is in constant telepathic communication with the inhabited creature, imparting its thoughts and desires regardless of language. I mean, that's true speech for you, right? To gain the inhabited creature's cooperation, the Agathion usually offers telepathic suggestions and things the creature might find appealing, so you get to roleplay them in Maxing GM. Well done, we did it. While inhabiting another creature, the Agathion does not have access to any of its supernatural, spell-like, or extraordinary abilities. It can't cast spells or take any mental actions beyond thinking and using intelligence-based skills. So right there, you're rolling twice on skill checks, as long as they're int-based. All the knowledge. It cannot be targeted by any spell or effect, but it can be detected normally by divination spells. Damage that harms you does not harm your cat parasite. If you die, the Agathion appears in your square, but the real kicker here is that the Agathion can exit the inhabited creature at any time as a standard action. When it does so, it appears in the nearest available open space. The Agathion can re-enter the base creature as a standard action as long as they're within 10 feet of each other, and it does not require further permission from you to do so. While separated, the base creature, you, lose the benefits of this template. If the base creature and Agathion are separated for more than a day, the base creature permanently loses the template. The Agathion can reinvest, but you need consent first. But that's a free, really powerful Eidolon, right? That's exactly what that is. The CR plus 3 seems to make sense now when, say, you were a Draconal Agathion invested with that once a day heal, thrice a day command or hold monster, plus 4 to 1 ability score, plus 2 to any other ability score, or snap your fingers, CR20 outsider, exits your body, does a fighting. On that note, GMing for this, I think I would definitely bar what sort of Agathion based on your hit dice. A level 1 Draconal invested creature is kind of scary. Does goblins too much for you? Well, summon a thing that does way too much damage because it's CR20, and you no longer have to worry about it, right? Easy peasy. So then I suppose for the sake of balance, and because I prefer Dex characters, I'm still really liking the Sylvanchi. Magic Missile is a spell that scales super well as the game goes on, but it doesn't break the game necessarily. Speak with Animals is really useful, but it may not be useful if you never run into any animals if it's an urban game, and Dancing Lights only gets you so far. A plus 4 to Dex, a plus 2 to Wiz looks good on everybody. And Weapon Finesse is a great bonus feat, and it's kind of awkwardly worded, but if I'm understanding it correctly, it'd be 19 Dex, grabbing 15 Dex from a Sylvanchi and then a plus 4 from the template, because it just says the base creature gains it. Sort of like how an Animal Lord gains the ability scores of the base animal, then buffs forward. Or if nothing else, True Speech, really, really good. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this one. What do you guys think about the Agathion invested? Have you played this? Would you play it? How do you feel about templates in your game, by and large? Let me know in the comments. And thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. Oh, also, I'm realizing now I completely dropped a thing when we had patron requests. On the subject of cat monsters, remember that lion centaur, the Wemmick? My bad. Patron requests are mean. Tommy has a dumb poo-poo brain, I guess. It's the Wemmick next week. See you then.